But today the New Patriotic Party is about to make a huge statement about itself. The New Patriotic Party today will say to us whether or not it is satisfied with the current situation in our country. It would say whether it is okay, all right, for the cedi to drop from 4 cedis to $1 to about 12 cedis to $1. The New Patriotic Party today will be telling us by the choices they make whether it is okay for prices of food items to have increased by 300% in a space of 2 years. The New Patriotic Party will be telling us today whether it is okay, as far as they are concerned, to make promises and not keep those promises. For me, that is what the Super Delegates Congress is about. If they go and they choose a candidate who has been instrumental in managing the affairs of the state, it would say loudly that they are satisfied with the performance of this administration. And if they say that they are satisfied with the performance of this administration, what does that tell us as the people of Ghana? This is the central issue this morning and today. All the other things, who gets 90%, who gets 70%, and so totally irrelevant. This is a party which has been in government for 8 years and is involved in the process of choosing its next leadership. Whoever they choose tells a huge story about the party's own commitments. So for me, that's how I'm looking at this so-called Super Delegates Conference. Now, Senna, today, something else is happening. You see, the NPP has elected for itself 3 clear stages towards the selection of a presidential candidate. The first stage is the Super Delegates Conference, which would select 5 people to contest for the flag bearership of the New Patriotic Party. The second stage is the Ordinary Delegates Conference, which will select a presidential candidate. And the third phase, of course, is December 2024, where the real context will take place. Now, it's important for those who are casting their votes today and the party to understand that these 3 stages are interlinked. What the NPP does today will determine what they do in the next stage, which is the Ordinary Delegates Congress, and that will determine their performance in 2024. So if you don't take account of that 3 stages which are all linked together, you are likely to make a fundamental error. Now, look, today, less than 1,000 people will be voting in this Super Delegates Congress. In fact, my last check indicates that for some constituencies in the Volta region, the whole constituency will have just 1 vote. 1 vote. For constituencies with sitting members of parliament, they are likely to have 2 votes, the member of parliament and the constituency chairman. In one constituency, for example, they have, at the normal Ordinary Delegates Congress, a delegation of 1,500 and something. Today, only 2 out of 1,500 and something are voting. If you do the mathematics, okay, it is possible that somebody will go to the Super Delegates Congress and get 0 votes. and be the popular choice of the party. I hope you understand what I'm saying. It is possible for somebody to go to the Super Delegates Congress and get 95% of votes and get less than 10% in the ordinary delegates conference. So this arrangement, even if you think it's necessary, can harm the popular choice. This arrangement does not enhance the popular choice. This arrangement is an arrangement which empowers party executives, appointed officials and others to impose candidates on the party. Clear. And that is why the term establishment candidate seems to have gained roots as we move towards the Super Delegates Conference. Now, there are many dimensions that if the people in the New Patriotic Party and those who are voting are serious, they need to look at. One of the dimensions is very clear. Whoever wins today, the five, will have to understand very clearly that they are going to need the support of every member of the party to realize the ambition of becoming president in 2024 or president-elect in 2024. Okay? Because if you look at the statistics, it's clear. I mean, the last elections, whether you believe that it was rigged or not, the official results declared by the Electoral Commission indicates that former President John Dramani Mahama clawed back more than 500,000 votes. That's significant. 500,000 votes. Okay? Now, if that is the situation, if this trend should continue, it would mean that the MPP needs a candidate who is extraordinary. A candidate who is not soiled by the record of this administration. Because the record of this administration clearly is problematic. In every sense, if you take all the promises they made, that's a problem. If you take food supply, that's a huge problem. It became so bad that the Minister for Agriculture decided to move trucks into certain parts of the country and to come and sell food in Accra. That collapsed in no time. That collapsed in no time. That's a statement itself. You understand? You take the level of indebtedness, it is unprecedented in our history. You take food prices, oh Jesus Christ of Nazareth, it's terrible. You take the rate of inflation, it's now gone beyond 40-something%. You take the depreciation of the cedi, whoa. So what are you going to campaign upon if you're going to campaign on the record of this administration? $1 million per constituency. Today, what happened to that and so on? So there's a huge problem. So all of us are sitting down with bated breath, waiting for the choices that they made. Now, what is significant is that today, it is establishment figures who are going to vote. And therefore, naturally, you can sense a bias against reform, a bias against critical voices. But the party needs reform. The party needs critical voices to be able to look the people of Ghana in the face and say, look, yes, we made mistakes. We have the capacity to change. We have the capacity to do things in another way. Now, if you look at all of the 10 candidates who are contesting today, the one who has a new posture, the one who is talking about reform, The one who is talking about doing something new and so on is Kwabena Ejapon. But I wonder, just wonder, if he would manage to make the 5. I'm just wondering. Okay? Just wondering. Now, again, for those who are voting, and those who subsequently will be voting in the ordinary delegates conference, it is not difficult at all to tell whether a candidate is a good one or a bad one. All you have to do is to listen to the candidates. And Senna, if you have a candidate who in the morning is speaking in Kumasi, and he describes himself as an Ashanti, okay? In the afternoon, he moves to Swedro in the central region and immediately becomes a Fanti. And in the evening, he moves to Accra and instantly becomes a Gan. He's a liar and is not worthy of his words. So if you listen to the candidates, you can make up your mind so easily. He's a liar, he's a fraudster. He doesn't deserve your votes. You're going to vote in an election. And there's a candidate who comes up and says that, listen, me, I'm a Muslim candidate. I'm coming with Muslim values. If you vote for me, you have a voice in the Flagstaff House. In the morning. In the afternoon, the same candidate is addressing the Boys Brigade. And he says, I'm one of you. In fact, I was baptized as Timothy, and so on. That candidate is a fraudster, is a liar. He can't keep his word. He doesn't even know who he is. You understand? So it's so easy to determine who is a good candidate and who is a bad candidate. We don't have to say. In any case, what we are saying here today would not influence the outcome of the votes. You understand? Now, I believe that the people of Ghana want to build a united, prosperous nation. United, prosperous nation. That's what we want to build. So if you have candidates who are dividing north and south, who are separating Akans from Grushis, and so on, that candidate is a very, very bad candidate. Dangerous. Thank you, madam. That candidate cannot bring about national unity. But you see, it even gets worse. When that candidate, who is claiming that we should vote for him because of where he comes from, is on record to have campaigned against a candidate who also comes from the same place. Why? I mean, and let me be blunt here. We want a Northerner to be president of Ghana. That's the claim. I don't care whether you're a Northerner, Westerner, Easterner, or whatever. What we want are the deliverables. We want to live a healthy life. When we fall sick, we want to be able to access medical care. We want to be able to access housing and so on. Those are the objectives. But if you have a candidate who thinks that this choice is between a Northerner and a Southerner, and is a record to have done everything possible to prevent a Northerner from becoming a president, then there are question marks about that candidate. Question marks about consistency. Question marks about so many things. You understand? Because if you believe that a Northerner needs to become president of Ghana just for the sake of being a Northerner, why did you campaign against President John Dramani Mahama? Where is he from? Is he not a Northerner? You can't campaign against a Northerner, do everything possible to frustrate a Northerner from becoming president, and turn around now and say that if you vote a Southerner, you are injuring Northerners. Which Northerners are you injuring? And in any case, my brother, factual situation. There are idiots who come from the central region. Idiots, clear idiots. delegates. They come from the central region. There are sages who also come from the central region. If you go to eastern region, you have thieves from the from the eastern region, and you have honest men and women from the eastern region. If you go to Ashanti region, you can get dignified personalities, and you can get personalities that you would not want to identify with. That is why the issue should not be about which region you are coming from. Come with your own credits and discredits. You understand? Why? This nothing, south nothing. I think that it's a major regression. You know why it's a major regression? I've lived a little long in this country. When I was young, in elections, where you come from was not a feature. That is why it was possible for Osajifo Dr. Kwame Nkrumah, who came from that small village in the western region in Krofu, to contest elections in Accra Central, where you want to contest elections. Ashe Dukateke. And to beat, to wallop Obeche Bilamte. To wallop Obeche Bilamte, to defeat him to nothing point, as they say. It's a man. Young is a man. You understand? Why? In those days, you could come from Eburi and contest elections in Salaga, and the people of Salaga will vote for you. Now, we have gone so back that where you come from, what language you speak, is more important than what is in your brain. And I think that is a major regression. And I think that our political parties, if they are minded by the aspirations to unite, to build a prosperous nation, to unite the African people in their struggles against underdevelopment and so on, have to move away from this backwardness. Complete, total backwardness. We have to move away from it. Unfortunately, some of our politicians, because they are driven only by their useless and unbridled ambition to assume power, to acquire power, power with which they do nothing, and so on, are taking us back. And it's our duty to resist that. Whether we are members of the CPP, MPP, or NDC, we have a responsibility to resist that. Now, this is not a problem which is only in the MPP. It's a problem everywhere. Over the last 1 week, I've been reading the newspapers. And I've heard statements, childish statements, by some people. One guy who said that, look, he has to be the running mate of John Dramani Mahama because he's an Ashanti. Incredible! Where is that coming from? Your qualification? Your only qualification? I've heard another one. Going around forming campaign teams and so on. He doesn't even understand the electoral process. And his only reason for wanting to be the partner of John Mahama in the next elections is that he comes from the Volta region. Tell him to go to hell. Tell him to go to hell. You come from the Volta region, and so what? If you're a dunce and you come from the Volta region, so what? These are not the issues. What happens in all the political parties, NDC, CPP, NPP, the other one, what is it called? This guy whose posters are everywhere, in every gutter, you find his photograph. Gutter, truck station, everywhere. I mean, no matter where you are, you understand? No matter where you are, let us try, just try, and build a united and prosperous party. Now, I'm looking at the predictions. There are so many of them, Massa. The predictions, hey! So many of them. One of the things that baffles me is that some of these posters, we've seen them over and over again. They never get it right. And they don't get tired. They won't stop. Every opportunity they will make a prediction. Abba! Think about yourself and your image. But they're making all manner of predictions. I've actually seen a prediction who says that one of the contestants in this election, in fact, Alhaji Mahmoud Bawumia, is going to get 95%. From where? It is impossible. I am saying on this platform, we are only a few hours to the declaration of results, that nobody will get 95%. Nobody will get 95%. Because this constituency which is going to vote is the establishment, we can make some safe predictions. I would not be surprised if at the end of the day, Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia ends up at the top of the pack. I would not be surprised at all. But 95% is impossible. In fact, it will be no news if Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia ends up at the head of the pack. What will be news is if he gets less than 60%. In fact, if he gets less than 60%, he should begin thinking about packing his boots. Because this is the very establishment of the party. And if the very establishment of the party over which you have presided as vice president for 8 years gives you less than 60%, then there is a problem. Okay? Now, Senna, there are 3 people who would most definitely be in the pack of 5. No doubt at all. Kennedy Ohine Japan will be in the pack of 5. Alhaji Mahmoud Bawumia will be in the pack of 5. And Alan Shemati will be in the pack of 5. All the others will be competing for the 2 remaining positions. Now, I think, I suspect, I believe that some of them will be struggling to get 3 votes. 3. 1, 2, 3. It will become a struggle for some of them. But given the way things are going, there will be an ordinary delegates conference. But you see, I'm even wondering why this is the super delegates conference and the main one involving more than 200,000 voters is the ordinary conference. How did we come by this? But be that as it may, whatever happens here, in that ordinary conference, magic would happen, wonders will happen. There will be surprises. It is just possible, and I'm not saying that that is what it's going to be, it is just possible that nobody will be able to marshal 50% votes, or more than 50% of votes at that level. If that should happen, I would be left in no doubt that the man who will decide who becomes presidential candidate of the New Patriotic Party in 2024 will be Kennedy Ohine Ejapong. I'm not saying that he will win. I am not saying that he will win. But he will decide. If nobody gets 50% at that level, Kennedy Ohine Ejapong will decide who becomes the next presidential candidate of the New Patriotic Party. The issue which arises then is that what will be his motivation? What will be the considerations that go into his making that decision? And whatever his motivations will be, Ghana will pay for it. If his motivations are honorable, if his motivations are about national development and so forth and so on, Ghana will be the beneficiary. If his motivations are something else, all of us will pay for it. So that is where we are. Now, Hadia raised a very interesting point. We are being told that the new patriotic party for this super delegates conference has decided to play games with the serial numbers of the ballot papers. And the intention is to make sure that nobody can find out who voted for who. That's what they are telling us. Now, at the time when I heard this, I said, but what does that mean? Because if you are going to count the ballots at places where the votes take place, if we vote in Tamale and you count in Tamale, you know exactly which region voted what way. No matter what you do with serial numbers, you would know who voted where. Then we are being told, and I hope it is true, that indeed all the ballot boxes will be brought to a central place for counting, in order to eliminate the possibility of the candidates finding out who voted for them and who didn't vote for them, which areas voted for them and which areas did not vote for them. Let's say that this is true. Why go through this? Because initially, there were two methods. 9 out of the 10 candidates insisted on decentralization. No. I'm wrong. Centralization. 9 out of the 10 candidates insisted on centralization. Because the numbers are so small. And they wanted the vote to be truly secret. The national leadership of the party said, no, let us decentralize. What is the point of decentralization if you are going to carry all the ballots to a central place to count? What sense does it make? The clearest indications is that they were pandering to the whims and wishes of one man. That's the clearest indication. Now voting is supposed to be over by 1. And all the ballots are going to be sent to a central location for counting. How long is that going to take? Because, in Tamale you can fly them to Accra. In Bolga and Wa you can fly them to Accra. Maybe even in Ho you can fly them to Accra and Takoradi. What about the rest? Okay? I hope that this is not going to fuel speculation and allegations about ballots changing on their way to Accra. Why give yourself this trouble? Because now you have created conditions in which people can come and say, well, we were in Tamale and we didn't think that this is how things went. And that something may have happened to the ballots on their way to Accra. Why do you create this unnecessary condition? I can't believe it. So unnecessary. In any case, Masha, the people who are voting in this election, they are not many. They are small. I'm told that even in one polling stations, it is likely that the votes will not exceed 30. Yeah, 29, 30. It won't exceed 30. So, if you are Senna and we are contestants and we have done your duty, and I'm using duty in a certain context, and we have made sure that every one of the 30 people there has been properly satisfied, maybe with a nice pickup and some 30,000 CDs and so on. You have started them nicely. And that place, when they voted, you got 15 votes. You know the other 15 that you gave pickups who didn't vote for you, don't you? At least you know that 15 people who took your pickups and took your 30,000 did not play ball. Should it come to that? Should it come to that? Now, I think we have to understand something very, very clearly. And that is that these political parties are not private companies.
Aha, PRIZM Multimedia. When you go so share, na me say akwanya no ho de maw, say wo be subscribe, ye the video to ma, where the first person I won sabet me aso ye video mu, na wo so a wo ye oman ba pa no wetumi ehunu ne ekoso e wo oman mu. Like adwintre bi so ho na opese wuja, fato comment section ni mu. Edi ba ko pe na fa frame, make meje so. Me si ha da mu nyina mwase mamomoni ti a ye je me enyado.